He looked over at the clock, realizing only 1 minute.
Oh my God, Nodirbek down to a minute, no increment, down a pawn. He needs a miracle to save this one. He rushes with the rook trade, and it's going to be all about combining the efforts of a queen and a knight, which can be quite dangerous and tricky against a queen and a bishop.
And Wesley, this rook on d1 that was just captured, he moves his bishop back out to b3. He needs to pile pressure on some of Black's vulnerable pawns. So for Wesley right now, plenty of time on his clock. For Nodirbek, he's down under a minute.
He's down under a minute, and okay, ignore the board. He did capture that black rook at the bottom on d1. It's now queen and bishop versus queen and knight. White is just a pawn up, so let's ignore that small board for now. Let's focus on the players, and it's all about whether Nodirbek can hold on. It's not going to be easy long term, but he's got the move counter there. Look at the tablet, move 37. He needs to make 23 moves in just under 1 minute.
His chair is shaking. Like, you could see how nervous he is right now because he does not have time to calculate. He just put his g-pawn forward, so he's down a pawn. He's trying to make space for his king. Wesley doesn't immediately have threats. That's the one bit of good news for Nodirbek.
To be precise, he's got 48 seconds on the clock with no increment to be made. The good news for Nodirbek is that he's got the queen and knight. But how does the knight find a good post into Wesley's camp right now? I don't see a clear path.
And what an angle we see, visibly nervous now, shaking. He's trying to get the adrenaline pumping. I think he's just trying to set up a fortress, erect that fortress on the dark squares. White only has a light squared bishop, so if you hold the opposite color complex, you might be able to fend off the attack. And, okay, we see a check, a quick repetition of the position. Wesley cannot draw. He cannot repeat a third time.
Of course he doesn't, but that gives extra moves to Nodirbek.
That was very helpful for Nodirbek, and the bad thing for Wesley is he doesn't have an eval bar at his disposal. He doesn't know that he is objectively winning. If the queens come off the board, can the knight establish a dark square blockade? That's the big question.
He's also dropped a second pawn. Can Wesley grab? He does take on b6, and now there's just one check. It was only one check. The white king's safe. If the queens come off now, it is dead. White is simply winning due to the two extra pawns, especially the protected pass pawn on b5. He can centralize now. I think this is going to kill the counterplay. Abdusattorov is on the brink of elimination.
And Wesley, he did the right thing. He gives a check to centralize his queen. He can bring his queen back to help shield his king, which is vulnerable in the second row, but he can even bring his queen back to its starting square. And he can trade pieces anytime, but this is even nicer, going in for the kill.
Going in for the kill. Look at the light squares. The queen, the bishop lined up. A battery on the diagonal. White is threatening queen to f7 check next to the black king. That would be lights out. Black's queen forced to defend.
For Nodirbek, he's got no time as well and lost on the board. These are the final few seconds of Nodirbek in the Champions Chess Tour finals.
And the queen can take this knight. A new queen will appear, and I think that will cause resignation.
Nodirbek knows it. He resigns. Wesley So is into the finals.